Well, one thing I like you to keep in the car, well, besides the sleeping bag, this is actually a little $20 sleeping bag that was probably 50% off from Wally World, and you can use it like a blanket, but it is a little bit bulky. You know, it's not that freaking small, but it still fits in the trunk of your car, no problem. But the other thing is, you got these thinner blankets. These are not mil spec, but I got them from Bud K. They're 50% wool, 50% polyester, or some kind of nylon material, and they open up. They're about 80 inches long. But what's good about them, since they're not itchy. They're not like the military ones, which they're not itchy to me, but to some people they are itchy. But these don't even feel like wool at all. But for the you're putting two of them together, you can see that's a lot smaller than one of these sleeping bags, even these compact ones. These compact sleeping bags are pretty good too, man. This one's only rated to like 40 degrees, but say for instance, made in USA, that was another thing I picked it up for too. But you look at the size of those blankets, two of those blankets, it's not even half of what this is. And you don't need that much most of the time. Say you were in a car and you got in traffic whereby you're on a highway. I know probably people aren't thinking about it right now because it's springtime, but say you're on a highway and there's like, you know, traffic jam up ahead because nobody can get up the hill because of the snow and the ice, right? And you're stuck there for like 6-7 hours. Well, you're probably not going to be able to run your engine the whole damn time, and you might be wearing some winter clothes, but when you add this to it, you're going to stay warm. Or also you can just get those things like that, those blankets. Now, one thing I like about ordering from Bud Gay or C.H. Cadell, first off, they're small vendors, you know, and they're out of Georgia. They're not some big Amazon retailer, Walmart, some of those big-ass stores where you're supporting BS. You know, it's an independent guy, right? And of course, when you order out of state, you don't pay no sales tax or nothing, too. This, you know, since I bought $29 and stuff, they usually have, like that was a 2-for-1 sale on those blankets, and they usually have these BOGO deals. You know, they call them B-O-G-O, BOGO deals. You know, I don't really buy I buy stuff from them once in a while. Sometimes they have a 2-for-1, like on knives or whatever, man. It could be anything. But that was a 2-for-1 special on those blankets. So for the price of one, you got two. Then if you buy $29 or more, you got a free knife. Now this one, I don't know what this knife is worth, you know, but I'm not sure what kind of steel is in it. It might be OS 8, to tell you the truth, because a lot of these knives that are like this are OS 8 steel. I got some of these for $10 for one this size, a full tang with a smaller skinner for $10. I don't know what this thing is worth, but they threw this in there. Besides getting a BOGO deal, 2-for-1. That's like C.H. Cadell's or what is that? Or Bud K. And I think he's got some other things he markets out of, you know. But this looks very close to another one type of knife I got, but a little bit different handle though. But it's got the lanyard hole in it, and I use this. I always like these serrated edges. I used on other knives. Now I didn't use this one yet, but this looks almost exactly the same as the other knives I got. I use this to cut wood, and I mean maybe 2 or 3, maybe even a 3-inch branch. You can actually go right through that stuff pretty quick with this damn thing. I'm surprised how well these damn things saw. This has got kind of like a rubberized handle to it. It's got the little finger groove up there, and you can choke up on it a little bit like that, so you can do a little more fine work. And it's got, you know, the Cordura nylon sheath with it. But, you know, 2-for-1 deal. And, you know, it's good to get stuff like this when you're not needing it, because like something like this, I could throw in the trunk. I got a sleeping bag like this. I got one of these, and this one, this El Camino, this one I took out of this Sebring convertible. I got one in Suzuki Samurai or SJ413, but I don't have nothing in that car. So what's going in that car is going to be this. But you know what else these are good for? Even on a motorcycle. Say you got your saddlebags, you ain't going to be shoving something like this in a saddlebag. Now, I know another thing you could carry on a motorcycle is a rain suit, which actually blocks the wind and stuff. But sometimes, or even a plastic bag, which you could make into a makeshift rain suit real quick. I actually have a video on that. A lot of people don't think of these things, man. As a matter of fact, when I put this inside this plastic bag, the reason is not just to keep this clean, but this is also an insulator. I could make this into like a little upper garment that blocks the wind and blocks the rain. But that's what I'll do with those things too. They're going to go in a plastic bag, like a black one like this, and it's going in the trunk of that car for if I ever need it. Whereby, if you're stuck someplace and it's cold, and it don't have to be that cold for you to get hypothermia. That's the thing. You'd be surprised, man. Well, I found that out on a motorcycle and also found that out on a bicycle, man. If you're out there in the weather, if you're not pumping out a lot of energy, and sometimes you can't pump out even enough energy to freaking combat what's going on. This is also something good to even take in a boat. Something like that, or even these plastic bags. I mean, plastic bags, you can get buoyancy out of them and stuff. But sometimes, when you want something that's got partly wool in it, because the wool's got, I think that's 50% wool, 50% polyester. I know it's 50% wool, it's 50% some other synthetic. And that's not real thick, but it's not itchy. And I forgot what they were, 2 for $10 or some crazy thing like that. Those BOGO deals are pretty good. But then they threw in this knife when I got $29 worth of stuff, because I got a couple more doodads. So, and I feel like I'm supporting a vendor that's an entrepreneur. It's not one of those big box retailers where, we got the super sale on, the multi-billionaire behind the scenes like the Walmart family's freaking owning everything, or Jeff Bezos with Amazon. I don't like supporting all this garbage sometimes, like getting from the regular people. But, those blankets, when they're when you got some wool in them, even wool's got some insulation value when it gets wet. It loses a lot of its insulation value, but it's still got some insulation value. Now, something like this, if they got totally soaked, it wouldn't have much insulation value at all. But it would have a little bit. Usually what the problem is, if you have cotton is where you lose pretty much all your insulation value. But wool has been noted for, and that's why I like even wearing, right now it's summertime here, I'm wearing boots and shorts. But I like wearing these mil-spec wool socks all the time. Of course, with my boot knife, which I use all the time. I don't carry this knife into some stores some places, but usually government facilities, but I carry this with me all the time. But I use it. I use this stuff. So, just want to pass on the word that, look around for some of these deals. Don't just buy something for the hell of it. Buy something you can freaking use. And, the wool blanket is definitely something you can always use. It's like you might not use it for freaking 3-4 years maybe, but when you go to use it and you have it, hey, do I have that in my car? God damn, well, I'm glad I got that thing. It's sort of like having an emergency backup generator for your house. You don't use it that often, but when you need it, are you glad you got it? There's no doubt about it. And like when they have these other deals, like they always have the 2-for-1 deals, the BOGO deals, right? But a lot of times they have these other deals, like this knife. I mean, I wouldn't really call this, it's made in China. I know the knife that looks very much like the same damn blade. It's AUS 8 stainless steel. I got a bunch of those damn things. I was surprised it had AUS 8 stainless steel full tang for $10 a pop. But this one here, for free, I'll take it. It's something else you can keep in your toolbox. It ain't going to rust out. You ain't going to worry about, some people bitch about not having a leather sheath. But, if it gets a little damp, your leather sheaths get kind of screwed up, something like this. This can get wet. This whole thing can get wet. It's something like this, you could probably, you can have it out near the water all the time and not have a problem with it. But it was free, so, Delta Defender Counter Terrorist Force. Wow, whatever the hell that means. It's a marketing name. Made in China. But, might as well get this Chinese stuff if it's dirt cheap and it's reasonably priced. Like free is reasonably priced, I already got the 2-for-1 special. I already got some other 2-for-1 specials and super sales. And I got this because I spent $29 for free. So, and sometimes people go bitch and say, and even like when you get this free knife, you go, well, it's not a good knife. It's not, but you know what? Sometimes this knife, all these everyday beater knives, whatever you call them, and I just sharpen them with a pull-through sharpener. I don't like put them on a stone or anything like that because they're not really expensive knives that need to be finessely sharpened. But if something goes wrong with it or you lose it, you really don't give a crap that much. I'd be like getting all pissed off if I lost one of my K-bars. But if I lost one of these free beater knives, I wouldn't care too much. I wouldn't want to lose it. I don't plan on losing anything. Sometimes I misplace tools, but I usually find them after, so many hours of looking around. Sometimes I'm like, where the hell did I lay that thing? Oh, it's on the trash can lid. I didn't realize I put it way back there by the shed on top of the trash can lid when I was walking by. Sometimes I lose something for a little while, but if you're out there in the woods, or you're out there on your property and it's a pretty good sized property, and it don't even have to be the woods, you could drop something. It could just be buried and disappear in the leaves, and a couple rains later, you're like, where the hell did that knife go? Yeah, that's what's good about these cheaper knives. So you ain't worried too much about losing them. But free, free is cheap as get, man. So, but anyway, we're going to pass this on. I think this is better to have in a car, but it takes a little more room. I don't like getting the mummy type sleeping bags for it's not for camping. I guess you could use it for camping, but this is only good for 40 degrees. This is like a $20 thing out of Walmart, but it says, made in USA. I'll get it. It's off half price. But I keep them in there with the plastic bag, because the plastic bag can also double as like a jacket if you needed to, or windbreaker. And, if you're in a car and say it's 22 degrees out, it's snowing, the highway's all jammed up because up ahead, nobody can there's some people that can't make it up the hill, and they'll in like a big 18-wheeler jackknifed in the middle of the road or some crap. Well, you're going to be stuck there for some 18 hours or, I don't know, maybe 5-6 hours or maybe 2 days for all I know. You're going to need something like this. But say, you don't have that much room, 2 of those things work pretty good too. And one of those will fit in a motorcycle thing. That could be good too. Like, say, for instance, you're on a motorcycle and you want to pull off on the side of the road and you want to lay on the ground and you just want to take a rest and you want to keep the bike chained to your leg or something while you're resting. Well, you can lay that on the ground. You can use plastic too, but you can also use that thing. I'd rather be using that thing than a plastic. And, you can use it at the beach or whatever the hell it is. 2 for $10, BOGO deals. Not just survival. So you got olive drab beach blanket, whatever. It could be that too, for crying out loud. But I like supporting the little guys. Sometimes I go in Wally World. I usually do my food shopping in Wally World, but I've been pretty much, avoiding big retailers with the big money. Just supporting the little people, So anyway, I just figured I'd pass this on as tip. 2-for-1 deal plus a free knife. Hey, come on. And I did have to pay I did have to add up to over $29 in my order to get that free knife. But you know, it's like they keep throwing those deals out there, and every once in a while I'm like, hey, I'll get that. I'll use that someday, eventually. And you know, this knife, I just might put in that car. That'd be a good knife to keep, because I'll have something. This thing's like a little chopper too, man. I got some tools in that car, but I don't have everything in that damn thing.